Hey Iron Warriors, today I bring you a topic that Mike Mentzer repeated over and over because he saw most bodybuilders falling into the same mistake, and it's a mistake that kills your progress, stalls you, and can even make you quit the gym. Before we begin, I ask you a favor. If this content adds value to you, share it with your gym friends, subscribe, and hit the bell so more people can train with science, logic, and real results. As Mentzer taught, what we'll cover in this chapter 10. 1. The universal mistake. According to Mentzer, copying routines from drugged professionals, thinking they work for naturals, believing that more is better, more volume, more days, more hours, when the physiological reality is the opposite. To how the industry fuels confusion: magazines, supplements, and marketing selling the idea that the secret lies in brutal volume. Mentzer denounced it. If you train like them, you'll end up overtrained and frustrated, not huge. 3. The role of genetics and drugs. Why pros respond to stimuli that would be impossible for a natural to sustain. The mistake. Extrapolating those methods and ending up exhausted without progress. For the real key. Cause gives effect. The correct stimulus is intensity taken to failure. Real growth happens outside the gym, during recovery. Your logbook is the judge, not the routine of a magazine champion. The mistake everyone makes is not thinking for themselves and getting swept up by the industry. Mentzer summed it up in 3 words: brief, infrequent, intense. If you apply this logic and adjust based on your real progress, you'll never fall into overtraining or frustration. Spread this message so more people train with reason, not myths. Section 1.1. The universal mistake. According to Mentzer, Mike Mentzer identified such a common pattern of error that he called it practically the original sin of modern bodybuilding. Copying the routines of drugged professionals, believing they work for natural athletes. From his early articles in Muscle Builder to his book Heavy Duty, he was insistent. To try to imitate the routines of the champs was not only superfluous but harmful to the progress of pharmacologically unenhanced and genetically underendowed young men. Heavy Duty, 1979, p224 in Spanish. Tratar de imitar las rutinas de los campeones no solo era superfluo, sino dañino para el progreso de los jóvenes sin fármacos y sin una genética privilegiada. Why is it a universal mistake? Doping equals accelerated recovery. Professionals on anabolics and other drugs not only grow more but can recover at a rate that a natural athlete can never match. Mentzer explained it with causal logic. Muscle grows during recovery, not during the set. If you copy a doped athlete who trains 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, you will end up accumulating chronic fatigue without ever completing recovery. The illusion of high volume, seeing Arnold or other Mr. Olympias doing 20 to 30 sets per muscle group and thinking if they do it, I must do it too. Mentzer responded with irony, who was right: the advocates of 12 to 20 sets, or the advocates of 75 to 100 sets. Science is an exact discipline, and a proper science of bodybuilding should tell us precisely what to do. Heavy Duty 2, 1993, p39. That is, science cannot accept contradictions. If some say 20 sets and others say 100, it is evident that there is no universal logic, but a distortion caused by doping. The false axiom: more is better in bodybuilding. More is not always better. It is often worse. Mentzer said that progress is achieved when the stimulus is intense, brief, and infrequent. A single set taken to failure can be sufficient if executed well, because what matters is the necessary stimulus, not redundant volume. Example: a natural lifter does 12 sets of bench press. They feel worked, but the next day they have no strength. Their progress stalls and they must rest for several extra days. If they had done 1 to 2 sets taken to real failure, with good technique, they would have produced sufficient stimulus without compromising recovery. Practical example: at home, a young lifter with dumbbells believes they need to train chest 3 times a week with 15 to 20 sets. Result: after 3 weeks they don't increase the weight on the dumbbells, they feel tired and lose motivation. Applying Heavy Duty: only 1 to 2 sets of dumbbell press to true failure once every 5 to 7 days. Keep a logbook and aim to add repetitions or weight. Result: they progress in strength and muscle volume because they allow real recovery. Example: in the gym, a beginner copies a Mr. Olympia's magazine routine: Monday, chest 20 sets; Tuesday, back 20 sets; Wednesday, legs 25 sets; Thursday, shoulders and arms 20 sets; Friday, chest again. Mentzer explained that this structure only makes sense under anabolics. A natural attempting this trains 2 hours a day. After a month, they feel stagnation and joint pain. They don't increase weights in the press or squat. Heavy Duty correction: basic routine of 4 to 5 total exercises per session. Only 1 effective set to failure. Train 2 to 3 times a week maximum. Result: fewer hours in the gym, more growth. Mentzer's causal logic. Mentzer's point was always philosophical and scientific. Muscle growth is not governed by opinions, but by objective biological laws. Cause gives effect. Adequate stimulus plus adequate recovery equals growth. Copying doped athletes breaks the logical chain because it introduces a factor that is not universal: steroids. Bodybuilding is not a random process. It is governed by the same law of causality that governs all phenomena in the universe. Heavy Duty 2, p11. Summary of Section 1. The universal mistake is copying what does not correspond to your context. Champions trained under chemical and genetic conditions that are unrepeatable. If a natural athlete imitates them, their destiny is not progress, but stagnation. Mentzer proposed stopping looking outward and starting to think like scientists, applying intensity, control, and recovery. Section 2.2. How the industry fuels confusion. 1. What the industry does and why it works. The fitness industry, magazines, supplement brands, gurus, viral channels, and ads, thrives on selling replicable and aspirational solutions. The product that sells best is the one that promises shortcuts. Trained like Arnold, Mr. Olympia's routine, 5 hours a week and you'll get huge. This works because it sparks aspiration and envy. But this narrative skips a critical variable. Pros often have atypical genetics and, above all, use substances that drastically increase their recovery capacity. Mentzer made it clear, imitating these routines without understanding the context is not only useless but harmful for most people. Mentzer, quote, contextualized. To try to imitate the routines of the champs was not only superfluous but harmful to the progress of pharmacologically unenhanced and genetically underendowed young men. Mike Mentzer. 2. Concrete mechanisms. How the industry distorts the truth. Here are the mechanisms used to make the lie seem like truth, and why they work. A selection of examples. The extreme case fallacy. They publish photos and routines of the biggest athletes, not the majority. The viewer assumes if they do it, I must too. What they hide. These athletes train under incomparable conditions. Drugs, equipment, time, professional support. Result. People imitate and burn out. The emotional headlines and simple recipes. Train 6 days and double your chest. Sells more than do 1 set to failure and control your recovery. Headlines seek attention, not truth. See product packages plus routine equals dependency. Essential supplements, paid programs, and coaches sell high-volume routines with the promise of faster results. This generates dependency and financial return for the industry, not better results for the user. Deconfusion between correlation and causation. Seeing a champion train 30 sets and have big muscles doesn't prove that the 30 sets are the cause. It could be correlated with other variables. Drugs, genetics, extraordinary nutrition, etc. Mentzer urged using causal logic. Cause gives effect, gives verification. 3. Why the more is better narrative thrives. Psychology and economics. Psychologically, people associate effort with merit. More hours equals more sacrifice equals more respect. Economically, more hours in the gym equals more content for magazines and videos, better business for ads and supplements. Cognitively, it's easier to believe that more work is a universal solution than to learn to measure intensity, TUT, recovery, and analyze a logbook. Result. The volume narrative reproduces and reinforces itself on social media and publications. For how Mentzer said it in few words, quotes and explanation. Several Mentzer quotes summarize his denunciation of the industry and the volume myth. To try to imitate the routines of the champs was not only superfluous but harmful to the progress of pharmacologically unenhanced and genetically underendowed young men. Warns against literally copying champions' routines. Who is right? The advocates of 12 to 20 sets or the advocates of 75 to 100 sets? Since science is an exact discipline, a proper science of bodybuilding should tell bodybuilders precisely what to do. Criticizes the contradiction in the industry and demands a science of training with clear principles. Practical summary of his philosophy. Intensity greater than volume. Recovery greater than hours in the gym. This is not dogma. It's a conclusion based on experimenting, measuring, and adjusting. 5 practical examples to understand the difference gym versus home. Example A. Gym, how they deceive you in practice. Ad, champions routine, 5 exercises per muscle group, 20 sets, 2 hours daily. What happens? Following this routine you accumulate fatigue. After a month, you don't increase weight and feel exhausted. Mentzer alternative, 4 to 6 total exercises per session. 1 effective set to failure per exercise. Short sessions of 30 to 45 minutes, 4 to 7 days of rest based on recovery. Result, more strength, better recovery, measurable progress. Example B. At home with dumbbells. The trap. Seeing a reel where someone does 5 long rounds and thinking, if he can, I can too. Reality. That creator might use aids, supplements, or simply seeks visuals for the camera. Smart application. Use 1 to 2 compound exercises. Dumbbell press, row at home leg press if supported, warm up, 1 effective set to failure. Record reps TUT and rest 4 to 6 days before repeating. Progression. Add 1 to 2 reps or plus 1 to 2.5 kilograms when you hit the target range. 6 practical signs that you're being sold. The volume narrative meta-read flags. If you see any of these signs, be skeptical. Headlines like train like Mr. Olympia without explaining context. Promises of quick results tied to a product supplement, paid plan. Huge routines without logs or studies justifying their use for naturals. Recommendations that don't mention recovery, sleep, stress, or diet. Only more sets or more days. 7. How to respond in practice. Brief scripts for conversations. If a friend suggests, train like the pro, 20 sets gives respond. Does that pro use aids and have a recovery team? Those details change everything. Let's try something brief and measurable for a few weeks and see the results. If sold a program video, what's the indicator that this works for natural people? Are there progression logs or just photos? If offered an essential supplement to handle volume? Thanks, but I'll first test if my progress comes with less volume and more recovery. If not, I'll review supplements. These scripts protect you from emotional marketing and bring you back to objective criteria. 8. Practical anti-marketing routine design template for 4 weeks. Goal: test if you respond to high-intensity, low-frequency stimulus. Sample week, for example, full body, 3 sessions in 12 days. Day 0, a chest press machine or dumbbell, 1 effective set to failure. Row, 1 effective set. Leg press or assisted squat, 1 effective set. Day 4, B, military press machine or safe variant, 1 set. Pull down, pull over, 1 set. Curl or extension, 1 set. Day 8, C, repeat A or focus on 1 to 2 other exercises. Record, weight, reps, TUT, RPE, sleep, DOMS, if after 6-8. Where weeks you consistently improve gives you validated the approach. If not, review recovery and diet before increasing volume. This design is the exact countermodel to what the industry sells as trained like a pro. 9. Quick checklist. Are you being manipulated by marketing? Check if any apply. Promise of quick results with many training hours. The example used as a professional champion, do they mention aids? No talk of rest, sleep, or calories. You're asked to buy a product to tolerate volume. If you check 1 or more gives, be careful. Return to Mentzer's rule. Intensity plus recovery equals progress. 10. How to incorporate the lesson 7-step action plan. Disconnect from the noise. Stop copying routines from magazines, videos, without analyzing context. Measure, keep a logbook without data. The industry defines your truth. Test low volume, high intensity for 6 weeks, 1 effective set per exercise. Validate by progress in strength and TUT. If it increases, gives, continue. If not, gives, review recovery. Don't buy supplements based on promises. Buy when a concrete result justifies it. Learn to read sources. Distinguish historical interviews and books. Mentzer Jones. Little from viral reels. Share and spread. If you see someone falling for marketing, offer the alternative of trying 6 weeks of heavy duty and comparing results. 11. Argumentative closing. Why this matters for your progress. The industry sells stories and sells time. This generates money for them and frustration for you if you get carried away. Mentzer wasn't anti-business, he was an analyst who demanded honesty and causality. If you apply the logic, measure, test, adjust your wallet, your time and your muscles will thank you. And most importantly, you'll avoid years of lost progress trying to imitate conditions that aren't yours. Selected references, recaps and historical material on Mentzer and Heavy Duty. Haituni, John Little. Popular articles contrasting volume versus intensity. Art of Manliness. Thespetrush. Critical discussions and evolution of the method. T-Nation. Practice forums and interviews. Section 3.3. The role of genetics and drugs. Why pros can handle what you shouldn't try. First of all, remember Mentzer's guiding phrase. To try to imitate the routines of the champs was not only superfluous, but harmful to the progress of pharmacologically unenhanced and genetically underendowed young men. Paraphrased. Trying to imitate champions is not only useless but harmful for those without pharmacological aids or privileged genetics. A. Overview. 2 game-changing variables. Genetics. Some people have a combination of muscle fibers, metabolism, hormonal capacity and joint structure that facilitates mass and strength gains. This genetic advantage translates to more type 2 fibers, better recovery capacity, tolerance to volume, and a faster anabolic response. Result: a genetically gifted athlete can tolerate more sessions, more sets and higher tonnage without collapsing. Anabolic drugs and other aids. Pharmacology. Substances like anabolic steroids, GH, insulin, peptides, etc. increase protein synthesis, improve nitrogen balance, accelerate recovery, and increase tolerance to volume and muscle damage. With them, a body can repair damaged fibers faster, recover the central nervous system (CNS) in less time, handle multiple sets to failure per session without entering chronic overtraining. In other words, drugs change the stimulus-recovery equation. What would be excessive and destructive stimulus for a natural lifter may be manageable for someone on pharmacology. B. Why pros can respond to stimuli that a natural lifter cannot sustain. Physiological explanation. Accelerated recovery. Pharmacological aids increase repair speed, protein synthesis, reduce the duration of damage, and allow faster replenishment of energy reserves. For a natural lifter, the repair window is longer, hence they need less volume and more rest. Greater neural tolerance. The CNS suffers when effort is extreme and repeated. Drugs and genetic adaptation increase the ability to tolerate repeated intense sets without a marked drop in neuromuscular function. Higher protein synthesis and anabolic retention. Drugs elevate the basal rate of protein synthesis and the anabolic response to stimulus. This allows a pro to convert more damage into gain in less time. Lower penalty for excess volume. For a natural lifter, each extra set steals recovery resources. For a doped pro, the same extra sets produce more net growth and fatigue. So the balance can still be positive. See the mistake. Extrapolating methods and ending up exhausted without progress. How it happens in practice. Literal copying of magazine champion routines. Real example. Seeing a Mr. Olympia routine with 25 to 30 sets per muscle and applying it entirely gives predictable results. Chronic fatigue, loss of strength, stagnation within weeks. Chasing the feeling instead of data. I feel worked is not synonymous with your stimulus was effective. The natural lifter who adds sets because they feel it's not enough is accumulating fatigue, not useful stimulus. Ignoring systematic recovery. If your body needs 6 to 10 days to perform again and you train every 48 to 72 hours, you enter a chronic recovery deficit. Vicious cycle of marketing, advertising and content show pros training a lot. The public replicates when it doesn't work. They buy more supplements or switch programs, perpetuating the problem. Practical examples. Direct comparisons. What a pro does versus what a natural should do. Example 1. Bench press doped pro. Pro's public routine. 6 chest exercises, 20 sets, 90 to 120 minute sessions, twice a week. Likely result for the pro: sustained growth due to enhanced recovery. Example 1. Natural version. Mensa friendly. Brief warm-up to warm-up sets. 1 effective set to failure, 6 to 9 reps. Total session 30 to 40 minutes. Repeat every 4 to 8 days based on recovery and logbook. Expected results: sufficient stimulus with complete recovery gives controlled progress. Example 2. Legs leg press doped pro. 5 to 6 intense sets plus advanced techniques, training every 3 to 4 days. Natural leg press, 1 effective set to failure. If advanced, may try rest pause in a specific session. Frequency 6 to 10 days. How to adapt ideas from a pro without copying their method. Practical rules. Extract principles, not plans. Principle, hard work and technique matter. Don't take quantity, sets, duration as a recipe. Mentzer think in cause gives effect. Bring the hypothesis to practice and measure. Use the logbook as a filter before copying a routine. Ask yourself, can I recover between sessions and continue progressing? If not, adjust volume, frequency. Adjust based on your actual recovery. Increase frequency, volume only if your strength and repetitions continue to improve. If not, more rest. Protect the CNS and life outside the gym. Work, stress, sleep, and calories influence more than a miracle technique. If you fail outside the gym, you'll fail inside. If clear signs that you're trying to sustain what you can't, alert mark. If you see 2 to 3 of these signs: reduce volume, frequency, declining performance, fewer reps / less weight, increasing RPE for the same set, persistent DOMs that limits technique, altered sleep, irritability, low appetite, needing to force repetitions with cheating due to exhaustion. Practical protocols for different levels. What to do today. Natural, beginner, 1, 2 months. Focus, master technique. Volume 1, effective set per exercise, 2 to 3 exercises per major muscle group. Frequency, 3 sessions in 10 to 12 days. For example, Monday day 0, Thursday day 4, Sunday day 8. Progression, increase reps, wait very gradually. If no progress gives, add rest. Natural, intermediate 1 to 3 years. Focus, strict sets to failure plus logging. Volume 1, effective set plus 0 to 1 non-fatiguing complementary set. Frequency 4 to 8 days between intense sessions based on response. Advanced techniques, occasional use only if logbook shows stagnation. Natural, advanced 3 years. Focus, optimize intensity and recovery. Use advanced techniques with control. Volume 1, effective set per exercise. Occasional rest pause or negatives on safe machines. Frequency, typically 6 to 10 days between intense sessions. Always monitor. Concrete strategies to avoid burning out. Trying to do what pros do, reduce the number of sets by half or more, and test for 6 weeks. Record everything: weight, reps, TUT, RPE, sleep, appetite. Evaluate every 2 to 3 sessions. If progressing, gives maintain. If not, gives increase rest. Avoid advanced techniques until strength increases consistently. Don't compete with your ego. The one who feels the most worked is not the one who progresses the most. Practical cases and what to do at home and in the gym. At home with limited dumbbells. Select 3 compound exercises: dumbbell press, row, squat or improvised leg press. Warm-up 2 short sets, 1 effective set to failure per exercise. Rest 5 to 7 days between sessions. Record and slowly increase reps. Weight. In the gym, access to machines. Use machines for safety during failure. Seated press, leg press, 1 effective set to failure per exercise. If you want more volume, do more exercises, but keep 1 effective set each. Do not repeat sets per muscle. Adjust frequency based on logbook 4 to 8 days. Myths and frequently asked questions. Quick answers for on camera or in text. If I increase volume, will I grow more? Not necessarily. Without recovery, extra volume is fatigue, not stimulus. How do I know if I'm genetically privileged? It becomes evident through recovery speed and response to more stimuli. If you progress with little work, you likely have an advantage. Can I train like a pro if I use legal supplements? OTC supplements do not reproduce the anabolic effects of pharmaceuticals. Adjust for safety and based on data. Logbook. What do I do if someone tells me do 30 sets in the gym? Ask about their recovery, their use of aids, and offer to test a 6-week phase with low frequency and measure results. Practical checklist to avoid misguided extrapolation. Was this routine shown by an elite professional? If yes, be suspicious. Is there mention of drug use, medical equipment, or professional support? If not mentioned, ask. Does my logbook show progress with less volume? If yes, maintain. Am I sleeping and eating enough to support this volume? If not, don't try. Can I recover in 4 to 8 days after such a session? If not, reduce L. Reflective closing in Mentzer's voice. Mentzer invited reason, observe, measure, compare. Don't copy for the sake of trends. If you want to progress, apply what biology allows you, not what marketing sells you. Think, don't follow. Section 4 for the true key. Cause gives effect. Extremely extensive, practical section, designed for anyone at home or in the gym. 2. Understand and apply Mike Mentzer's logic. 1. The central idea, very clear and simple. The entire heavy-duty method boils down to a logical, scientific, and actionable proposition. Cause input. 1 set taken to momentary muscular failure, i.e. real intensity. Strict technique. Process, biological response and repair, protein synthesis, neural restoration, hormonal balance, etc. Effect output, increase in strength and/or mass if adequate recovery is allowed. If you fail in any of the 3 pieces, insufficient cause, insufficient recovery, not measuring the effect, there will be no steady growth. 2. Why the correct stimulus is intensity taken to failure. Basic physiology. High threshold fibers type 2 are fully recruited only when load and fatigue force the muscle to operate near 100% of its momentary capacity. A set taken to technical failure recruits more motor units and produces the cellular signal-controlled mechanical damage plus metabolic signal that initiates adaptation. Doing many sets at low intensity does not guarantee that complete recruitment, hence a lot without intensity is ineffective. Practical rule: 1 truly intense set taken to failure with good technique and controlled cadence equals necessary stimulus. Everything else is support or noise. 3. Construction happens outside the gym. What does this mean? The gym applies the stimulus, the body builds during recovery. Key processes outside the gym: protein synthesis, glycogen replenishment, sarcolemma repair, CNS restoration, hormonal and neuromuscular adjustment. If you interrupt or steal recovery time training again before the body repairs itself, you run out of credit to build and enter fatigue accumulation. Analogy: the gym is the hammer blow that deforms the metal. Rest is the forge that tempers and strengthens it. Without the forge, there is no improved steel. For how to use the cause gives effect principle in practice. Operational steps. Step 0. Define your hypothesis. Micro-experiment before each cycle for 8 weeks. Right. Hypothesis: if I do 1 set to failure per exercise and rest X days, I will progress in strength in 6 weeks. Verification metric: +1 to 2.5 kilograms in press plus 1 rep at same weight, sustained increase in TUT. Step 1. Apply the stimulus cause. Brief specific warm-up to non-fatiguing warm-up sets. Effective set to failure with strict technique. Recommended cadence: 2 to 3 S concentric, 4 to 6 S eccentric. Example: TUT calculation below. Step 2. Record, don't improvise. Immediately record exercise, weight, effective reps, TUT, RPE, technical notes, sensation, template below. Step 3. Recover consciously. Prioritize sleep 7 to 9 H, adequate calories, goal plus based on objective and stress management. Avoid additional intense sessions. You can do light work, mobility, walking. Step 4. Measure the effect in the next test in the next scheduled session. Attempt the same exercise with the same or slightly higher load. If you improve, gives hypothesis validated. If not, gives diagnose recovery, technique, nutrition, stress, and adjust 1 variable at a time. 5. Step-by-step example. Realistic. Gym case. Goal: increase bench press from 80 kilograms times 8 reps gives target 9 to 10 reps in 6 weeks. Week 0. Initial test, warm-up, 40 kilograms times 12 easy, 60 kilograms times 6 rehearsal. Effective set: 80 kilograms gives 8 reps to technical failure, TUT per rep. 3 south up plus 4 south down equals 7 south gives 8, 7 equals 56 S TUT, RPE 10. Record: 88 TUT 56s, sleep 7 H, RPE 10. Moderate DOMS recovery, 5 days good sleep and plus 200 K cold day. Week 1 second attempt, same scheme, test 80 kilograms gives 9 reps progress. Conclude: strategy works, gives repeat stimulus with slight progression. 80 gives 82.5 kilograms or same load and aim for 10 reps. If no progress in 2 to 3 attempts. Review variables. Did you sleep well? Eat enough? Was technique identical? Are you measuring failure correctly? 6. Example at home with limited resources. Scenario: You have a pair of dumbbells up to 24 kilograms. Your dumbbell press 24 kilograms allows 8 reps per side. Warm up 8 to 10 reps with 12 to 16 kilograms. Do not fatigue. Effective set 24 kilograms, 8 to failure with strict form. TUT 7 south times 8 equals 56s. Record 24 times 8 tut 56s. RPE 10. Sleep 6.5h. Recover 6 days. Repeat. If week 2 you achieve 9 reps, gives maintain progress. Tip: when weight is limited, use slow cadence to increase TUT and make the set more effective. Progression can come in reps or better controlled time under tension. 7. What is TUT and why does it matter here? With practical calculation, TUT equals time under tension. Total seconds the muscle is under load during the set. It is a quantifiable indicator of stimulus. Simple formula: time per repetition times number of repetitions equals TUT. Example with cadence 2 quarters, 2 south concentric plus 4 south eccentric equals 6 south 8 reps times 6 south equals 48s. TUT Mentzer valued TUT because it helps compare sets with different rep numbers and cadences. For explosive reps do not equal 8 slow reps if TUT is different. Practical rule: for hypertrophy, an effective set typically falls between 40 to 80s TUT with controlled cadence, depending on the exercise and individual. 8. The logbook. What to record, how to interpret it, ready-to-use template, recommended headers column by column, date, exercise, weight kilogram, effective reps, cadence S TUT, SRPE 1 to 10, sleep H approx calories DOMS 0 to 10. Notes: example of a real row. The 1st of August 2025 bench press 88 3/4, 7 south 56 10 7.5 2800 kcal, 3 last rep correct technique, no arching next, plus 2.5 kilograms if 9 reps achieved. Quick interpretation rules: if reps increase or weight goes up, give strategy valid, maintain or progress slightly. If RPE increases and reps drop, gives possible lack of recovery, gives add 1 to 3 days of rest, depending on severity. If extensive downs and performance drops, gives reconsider frequency. 9. Diagnosis and adjustment protocols if the cause gives effect relationship fails. Situation A. No progression after 2 cycles, 6 to 8 weeks. Review: sleep, calories, stress, illnesses, correct first. If all good, gives increased rest between sessions, for example, plus 2 to 4 days. If still no, gives review technique, was it real failure? Adjust load cadence. Situation B. Progression but sudden stagnation, consider an active break of 7 to 10 days followed by reintroduction of the same stimulus. Situation C. Progression with joint pain, replace exercise with a safer variant machine. Grip. Change maintaining the failure stimulus, do not force continuity in an exercise that causes damage. 10. How to design valid experiments. N equals 1. Home science. If you want to know if a tactic, for example, 4 days versus 6 days of rest, works for you, do a serious experiment, baseline period for weeks with your current protocol record. Intervention: change only one variable, rest to 6 days, and keep everything else the same for 6 weeks. Measurement: compare average increase in reps, weight, TUT between baseline and intervention. Decision: if it improves, gives adopt. If same or worse, gives return to baseline and test another variable. Essential rule: change one variable at a time. 11. Signs of success: how to know the cause produced an effect. Consistent increase in reps or load over 2 to 3 cycles. Stable or slightly lower RPE for same load. Improved efficiency. Less DOMS with higher performance gives better adaptation. Visual improvement and measurements if taken. In muscle circumference after 6 to 12 weeks. 12 practical errors that break the cause, gives effect chain and how to avoid them. Error: not recording, gives solution. Keep the logbook from day 1. Error: changing multiple variables at once. New supplement plus new routine plus less sleep, gives solution. Experiment controlled. Error: confusing sensation with progress. A lot of pump does not equal adaptation, gives solution. Judge by repetitions. Load TUT. Error: ignoring mental recovery, apathy, low motivation, gives solution. Consider active. Break and review psychological stress. 13. Ready to use quick templates to examples. Template A. Basic 6-week cycle for natural intermediate session. A. Day 0. 3 compound exercises, gives 1 effective set to failure each. Record: rest 4 to 6 days. Session B. Day 4 to 6. 3 complementary exercises, gives 1 effective set. Repeat a B for 6 weeks. Evaluate progression every 2 weeks. Template B. Home variant: 3 exercises. 1 session every 7 days. Day 0. Dumbbell press / 1 arm row. Dumbbell squat, gives 1 effective set each. Rest 6 to 8 days. Repeat. Goal: attempt plus 1 rep or plus 1 to 2.5 kilograms each cycle. 14. Executive summary: what you must do right now. Define a simple hypothesis. For example, 1 set to failure per exercise plus 4 to 6 days of rest will give plus 1 rep in 6 weeks. Apply the effective set: brief warm-up plus technical failure. Record everything in the logbook. Use the template from section 8. Recover consciously. Sleep, food, stress. Repeat the test. If there is progress, gives, maintain, adjust. If not, gives, diagnose one variable and repeat. 15. Closing the correct mindset. Cause gives effect is not just a slogan. It is a thinking tool. If you want to train like a scientist, formulate, apply, measure, and correct. This way you stop being a victim of trends in marketing and become the agent of your own progress. Practical phrase to remember: apply the stimulus. Let the body build it. Let the data judge it. Bonus: practical 8-week plan. Transition to heavy duty, ready to execute. Objective: transition from conventional training, high volume or scattered sessions, to a functional heavy duty approach. Few sets, maximum intensity, optimized recovery, and measurable progress. Audience: natural, beginner, intermediate, trainee who wants to try heavy duty without breaking themselves or wasting time. Golden rule: change one variable at a time. Record everything and judge by your numbers. Judge by your numbers. General structure of the plan: duration 8 weeks, sessions 3 to 4 total sessions in a 14 to 16 day cycle, depending on the split chosen. Session format: brief warm-up to warm-up sets, gives one effective set to failure per exercise, gives immediate recording. Progression: first increase repetitions in the effective set. When you reach the upper range, plus 2 to 3 target reps, increase load by 2.5 to 5% and aim for reps again. Rest between intense sessions, 4 to 8 days based on individual recovery. Evaluation: check logbook every 2 weeks. Simple progression rules, maintaining the scientific experiment. Goal per exercise: target range of 6 to 10 reps in the effective set. If you achieve 10 plus reps with good technique, gives increase weight by 2.5 to 5% next session and aim for 6 to 8 reps again. If you fail in reps drop, RPE feels worse, gives add 1 to 3 days of rest next time. Do not add sets just in case. One well-done set is worth more. Detailed week-by-week plan: weeks 1 to 2. Adaptation and learning goal: technique plus recording habit. Frequency: 2 sessions in 9 to 10 days, for example, day 0 and day 5 to 6. Sessions: example, full body press machine or dumbbell. One effective set, target 6 to 8 reps. Row machine pulley. Unilateral -1 effective set, target 6 to 8 reps. Leg press or assisted squat to 1 effective set, target 8 to 10 reps. Note: avoid advanced techniques. Use slow cadence: 2-3s up, 4-5 south down. Record everything. Weeks 3 to 4, stimulus surge and recovery adjustment. Frequency: 2 to 3 sessions in 12 to 14 days, for example, day 0, day 5, day 11 if recovery is fast. Sessions: example, split. Session A, chest, back, core. Session B, day 5 to 7, legs, shoulders, arms. Progression: try to add 1 rep per exercise in each new session. If it doesn't flow, gives add 1 to 2 days of rest. Weeks 5 to 6. Validation and slight intensification, optional. Frequency: 2 sessions per approximately 9 to 12 day cycle. Changes: if your logbook shows consistent progress, you can introduce one very controlled advanced technique: brief rest pause in 1 set of leg press or pull down, or maintain 1 set but change cadence to 3-5 south to increase TUT if no weight is available. Rule: apply the technique only if you recover physiologically stable RPE and good sleep. Week 7 to 8. Test and final adjustment validation. Week 7. Performance test. Attempt the same load as the start and compare reps TUT. Week 8. If you progressed, gives program the next cycle with small increases in weight or reps. If not, gives diagnose sleep, calories, stress, and repeat for weeks with more rest. Session templates ready to use. Option A, home limited dumbbells warm-up, 3-minute mobility plus 1 light set of 12 reps, dumbbell press -1 effective set, 1 arm row -1 effective set, goblet squat 2 1 effective set, record and rest 6 to 8 days. Option B, gym safe machines warm-up, 2 light warm-up sets, machine press to 1 effective set, pull down pull over 1 effective set, leg press to 1 effective set, optional machine curl or triceps extension -1 set. If time energy allows, record and rest. Quick fix for 6 common problems: express troubleshooting. No progress in 2 cycles, check sleep, calories, add 2 to 3 days of rest. RPE increases but reps stay the same. Sleep more plus increased calories by 200 to 400 per day. Excessive DOMs greater than 72H. Increase rest between sessions plus choose machines over free weights. Losing technique during the set. Reduced load by 5% and reevaluate cadence. Low motivation. Do a week of active break. Mobility plus walks and return. Equipment limitation. Weight, increased TUT with slower cadence. Printable checklist to paste in your notebook. Warm-up, 2 warm-up sets. Do not fatigue. Effective set. Stable cadence 2 to 3 south up, 4-5 south down. Failure criterion. Cannot complete another rep with technique. Record exercise per kilogram reps. Cadence, TUT, RPE, sleep, DOMs next session. Tentative date based on recovery. Logbook template quick table. Copy it into your notebook. Date, exercise, weight, kilogram, effective reps, cadence, TUT, SRPE, sleep, HDOMS 0 to 10. Notes: the 1st of August 2025, machine press 88 3/4, 56, 10, 7.53. Last rep, correct technique, use 1 row per exercise. At the end of the session, calculate a summary. Overall performance, adjust rest if needed. Criteria for deciding the next cycle. If in 4 to 6 weeks you increased reps or weight in 50% of the exercises, gives maintained, slightly increase load. If you progressed in less than 50%, gives review recovery and repeat the same cycle with more rest. If you gave up due to fatigue, gives reduce volume even further, do 1 exercise per session for 2 weeks, and rebuild. Bonus closing mantra to paste in your notebook: do less, do it better, and let your notebook decide. General conclusion. Chapter 10. The mistake everyone makes, according to Mike Mentzer. Quick summary: the major mistake Mentzer repeatedly pointed out is copying without thinking, replicating the routines, volume, and habits of elite bodybuilders without considering genetics, pharmacology, and context. This imitation leads to overtraining, frustration, and wasted time, not growth. The central lesson of this chapter is simple yet radical. Extract principles, not recipes. Measure, validate, and adjust. Key points: don't confuse example with recipe. Champions train under conditions that are not universal: pharmacological aids, genetics, professional equipment. More volume does not equal more results for most natural people. Many sets without useful intensity only steal recovery, because gives effect. Apply a clear stimulus intensity to failure, allow recovery, and use your logbook as the verdict. The industry sells illusion. Magazines, influencers, and supplements promote the idea of more because it sells, not because it's best for a natural lifter. Adapt, don't copy. Take the principles: intensity, technique, recovery, and adapt them to your biology and lifestyle. Practical consequences: what to do starting tomorrow. Stop copying magazine routines. Instead, formulate a hypothesis. For example, 1 set to failure per exercise plus X days of rest will give me plus 1 rep in 6 weeks. Record everything: weight, reps / TUT, RPE, sleep DOMS. Your notebook is the judge. Apply efficient stimulus. Brief warm-up gives 1 effective set to failure, gives record. Respect recovery. Start with 4 to 6 days and adjust based on your data. Only if you stall and your recovery is good. Try advanced techniques occasionally. Unmistakable signal of validity if, after consistently applying this approach and recording your data, your strength and repetitions increase, then the method works for you. If not, diagnose and correct 1 variable at a time: sleep, calories, technique, rest. Final warning: the pride that pushes you to train like the pro is the same that keeps you stagnant. Mentzer called for critical thinking. Don't follow trends, follow results. Mantra to take away: think, apply, record, less noise, more data. Brief, infrequent, and intense.